I've been noticing that the bandcamp site is getting many times more visitors than plays. So far in July, I have just over 1,100 visits and just under 400 plays. That's not, you know, that impressive, but it's not terrible either. If I could get 1,000 people to come to my page every month, and a small percentage of them demonstrate an interest that's large enough to buy something, considering that I have a large number of things that are available for sale, it's not bad, really, right? If I could make an average of $5 on 1,000 people a month, I think I'd be doing all right, right? But one would expect the opposite of. But you'll notice that that's more visits than plays, and one would expect the opposite of that. Even if everybody shows up and just skips through 3 songs, that's still 3 times as many plays as visits. How can I have 1/3 as many plays as visits? That doesn't make any sense. What are people doing on my Bandcamp site, which has little besides a play button, if not listening? So they go to my page, they look at it, and then they go away? Like, what? You would think that if they show up there, they would at least skip a song. So I should have at least 1,100 plays. My best guess is that what's actually happening is people are going to the page, they're taking the links, and then they're putting it in one of those downloader sites. And what I'm measuring here is that the problem of Bandcamp downloading is dramatic, right? I just like to make a few comments about that. First, please recognize that I don't prostitute myself to capitalism by selling my labor for a wage. I chose that language for a reason, and I'm, using it aggressively. Okay, and I'm never going to do that ever again. This is a basic political position of mine. I consider it more noble to live on welfare than to sell my labor for a wage. For the same reason, I don't have a record label, and I don't want one. I don't make money through advertising, and I don't want to. I'm pushing the point out of principle. Do you not think that you have an obligation to pay for something if you're enjoying it? I just don't understand the thought process that would take somebody to an audio site to download a low-quality file out of the stream that only exists for promotional purposes, then tell me I should force people to listen to an ad for condoms if I want to eat. There's no tangible exchange of goods there. That's not the world I want to live in. That kind of world where, the economy is cycling around, useless goods, useless labor. It's the world I want to abolish, okay? Second, there's no way around this, okay? If you can stream something, you can pirate it. But again, I can't understand why this is the arrangement that you want. Third, the pirated version that you're getting is absolutely shit. My music is very sonically complex. The 128 kbps MP3 that you're streaming is really worth what you're paying for. If you're going to steal my music, don't steal it at 128 kbps, because you're stealing like it's like going into a store, taking a piss on the shirt that you're going to steal and then stealing it. And so what do you get? You've stolen a shirt off the rack that you've pissed all over. If you're going to steal something, steal the shirt that doesn't have piss all over it. So I have to clarify that you're not actually getting a proper representation of the sound that way. And I'm not exaggerating. It really is like pissing all over the merch. There's a reason that I'm constantly requesting that you listen to the music through headphones. First of all. And I'm implying that you listen to it through good quality headphones and, with a good quality source. On a good quality system, which means not your phone. Okay, if you're going to listen through a shitty MP3 and load it on your phone speakers or on your laptop speakers, then you're barely even getting an approximation up. Again, I don't understand what you're getting out of this. This isn't vocally driven music. Okay? If you're not listening to the arrangements, what are you listening to? As an example, the most recent track that I uploaded is mixed in such a way that I literally cannot hear the bass part on my speakers. My laptop speakers, sorry. Clarify it. I can hear it on my speakers in my system, but not on my laptop. Okay, it's not the first time I've noticed this either. Another example of that, there's a track that's going to come up called to spin inside dull aberrations. That one I can't hear the bass on at all either. And you're going to notice this over and over again, is that because I mix my bass, because I isolate the bass to be very low, right? But I don't overpower it, like it's not dubstep, right? But I mix it very low in the range, or I isolate it so it's very low in the mix. Your laptop speakers simply can't do it. They're not able to reproduce frequency at that place in the spectrum. I'm sorry. So you're never gonna get your laptop to be able to reproduce large amounts of what I'm producing. So first of all, you need to be listening to it in FLAC, and second of all, you need to be listening to it through a decent setup that can actually reproduce it. The stream can't do that, especially not on your shitty reproductive device. So to steal the stream is to miss the point. Fourth, broadly speaking, I think you're missing the point. Okay, the message that it sends to me is that you don't understand the art, so why are you listening to it? You can barely hear it, and you don't understand it. It's hard for me to get angry, right? It's less that I feel like I'm a victim of theft, and more that I feel like I'm not getting my ideas across very well. I don't understand what you're getting out of this by stealing it. If you were stealing it in high quality, and pirating, Blu-ray discs or something of it, then I'd be upset. But I'm really not upset. I'm just, you're not getting it. You're listening to shit. How can you possibly enjoy it when you can't even hear it? Or maybe I am getting my idea across well, right? After all, one of my main messages is the ubiquity of human stupidity. You dipshits. Perhaps you're just demonstrating the point. If you're going to listen to this at all, please do yourself the favor of downloading it in high quality and listening to it through headphones. It's not a hollow request. You just can't possibly understand what I'm creating otherwise. 2 seconds. This is more a battery break than anything else. Okay. I get that a lot of people like this economy where you put something up attached to an advertisement and the advertisers pay you, right? Okay. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but that can't work for music. It can maybe work for TV or whatever the future of TV is. It can work for radio, okay? But music, or complex music, or music that has any sort of artistic value, is not going to be able to exist with that kind of business model. A business model for music needs to be able to deliver a product that can be listened to in a higher quality than is allowed for, number one, through streaming, and number two, on the devices that people watch YouTube or whatever else on. That doesn't mean that the demand will go away because of the ubiquity of human stupidity, okay? But I'm not interested in, pushing a commodity down to morons and making, ad revenue from it. That's not what I do. It's not what I want to do. I'm financially comfortable on disability. I don't need to prostitute myself like that. And anybody that's in my situation is going to reject this model. That is, artists are going to reject this model. There's no future in this. Okay? There may be a future in income generation, but there's no future in the art of it. And therefore, these other strategies are not going to go away. It doesn't matter what kind of streaming site you're talking about. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, none of them are going to be able to produce a product in a high enough quality to satisfy the high-end market. And thus what I'm doing will never go away. Okay? We need something like Bandcamp, and we require the actual exchange of currency for a good in order for that to function. Your dystopic world will only be able to produce what it is that it's designed to produce, which is basically it's the ad-based model is only able to produce advertisements. It can produce government music. It can produce jingles, nursery rhymes. Okay, but that model will never be able to deliver art from artists to patrons. Okay, it's never going to happen, and there's no use in pretending that it ever will. And I'm explaining why. I'm sorry.